Hi folks, Tacitus Today here at your Pushback channel, and thank you for watching. Let's do some pushing back against those crazy ideological SJW activists. Now, we need your support, so please subscribe and please purchase our essays via the Patreon link below. Any and all donors remitting US $5 to our Patreon account can select one essay from our list of essays which are available in ebook or audiobook format, and they'll be emailed to you. Another short video describing what we do is on our site and also in the links below. A few people have asked about our political views. Are you Republicans, Democrats, Liberals, far right, far left, centrist and so on? So let me just talk for a moment about those issues. You know, I find myself agreeing with some policies and positions and not others across a wide political spectrum. We're not that easy to pigeonhole here. Sometimes I like a particular policy but think the implementation program is not so good. Sometimes policies seem well-meaning but are unlikely to do much good in the practical wash-up. In the 2016 US presidential election, just about every one of the candidates in the primaries had at least one policy I liked, and that includes Jeb Bush, Hillary, Bernie Sanders, and then candidate, now President of the United States, Donald Trump. In terms of personal liberties, private property and equality before the law, I am closer to a libertarian position than anything else, but do not agree with libertarians on many economic issues. Republicans seem to have a better tax policy than the other parties, but I do not always like their position on trade and allowing importation of cheap peasant labour to first world countries and exporting jobs to third world countries just to chase the wage arbitrage. Some of the more moderate leftist socialist policies I also often find myself agreeing with, at least in part. Like many, I am concerned about the penetration of the so-called deep state, which has made all the current major political parties almost indistinguishable from one another, other than on the cosmetic and symbolic gesture politics. I generally do not agree with monopolies, oligopolies, cartels, race and gender quotas, and social engineering generally, and particularly imposed equal socio-economic outcomes and forced mass migration, as all of these things place a cost on society that lowers overall standard of living and lowers and reduces personal incentive, but without delivering a corresponding benefit. I particularly oppose social engineering such as the deliberate manufacturing of race and gender conflict, particularly so when it is inflicted without the consent of the governed and done so at taxpayer expense. So social engineering, when it is administered without clearly codified rules and laws, make a mockery of democracy, of our institutions, the rule of law, and most importantly, due legal process. I try to look at any policy or idea on its own merits rather than which individual or political party or grouping may have sponsored it. We can be reasoned with at Tacitus Today, so we're quite prepared to revisit any position we have based on evidence, rational debate and scientific fact. For example, I disagree with pushing low IQ kids through college, burdening them with debt they may never be able to pay off, just so they can get some worthless degree in gender studies or sociology, keeping them away from years of income earning opportunities or education in some sort of trade, as this sets them up for attitudes of entrenched entitlement that ensure they become little more than raw material, cannon fodder for the race-baiting industry. I firmly believe it is essential elected politicians only represent the voters that elected them and not any external bodies such as the EU or the UN or some globalist elite such as George Soros or even the ever more powerful NGO fronts. We believe the mainstream media has become committed to misinforming and attempting to control the Western populace with misinformation. The once great impartial journals of record have become agenda-driven disinformation outlets, we believe. We have another introduction video, and please see the link below.